If there was one thing that business owners or startup companies were unprepared for, I'd have to say it would be dealing with new acquisition or garnering new business in slow seasons or times of a lull, right? When you're first getting started, everything sounds great. You're super excited. You have this amazing idea. It's new. People, even the community, are maybe getting riled up about it, eager to see what you got, eager to support you. But at certain points in the business, whether it's 10 years from the launch date or 10 months or 10 weeks or 10 days even, things can dip down. You can run into problems. You can have setbacks. You could lose employees. The market may shift. Things may come along. A new competitor may sprout up overnight, and you may be facing a situation that you don't really know what to do. And I think a lot of people, what they initially do, or what they're trained to do, or what they think intuitively that they have to do, is to start selling people, start spamming people, start cold calling, start sending out all these emails. It's a quantitative game. How many people can I get in front of? And eventually it's going to, get me some momentum or garner some sort of results. But I challenge you, because what that can do is ruin the first impression. In moments of desperation, or seasons of desperation for that matter, you can really put your foot in your mouth. That desperation can really shine through. You can maybe do some things or say some things that you wouldn't normally say, or that don't really align with your brand standards that you've built over that time since your launch, or even, you know, getting up to that launch point, right? You put a lot of time and effort in laying this foundation and solidifying a purpose and a vision and a mission and voice and messaging and all this stuff, that's why it's so important. It's what I do, is help you guys iron that stuff out. But if you're in a moment of desperation, or even a situation or a season where your emotions are pulling you, that could be something you're dealing with personally, with family even, where you lost a loved one, um, or going through a divorce, or maybe something that's going on with your child, something that you have that pulls you away from the business, a financial issue that's unexpected. All these different things can create a lull. It gets you off track, it gets you off process, it gets you off that progression. So when you're facing a season of desperation where you have to reach out, you really need business, don't let that shine through. Don't be one of those people that seem desperate, because what that does is diminishes your value, and it diminishes that perceived value of quality, right? Most people know that if you're a good business and you know what you're doing, or you have a valuable product, that you shouldn't be in a season of lull, that you should have business. And maybe that's an ignorant assumption. I personally think it is, because everybody deals with something, which requires understanding, which requires vulnerability, which requires sound marketing. So my point is, without getting into too much of a tangent here, because I tend to do that, when you're facing these types of situations, having a foundation, having a brand identity is important. It's invaluable, because what it does is it allows you to pre-focus back on your roots, back on the purpose, that initial initiative, or the objective that you set out to accomplish, and dial in on that. How do you magnify that? How do you take that central point, that aiming point, and continue to build out that web that draws people in and catches people's attention, right? And anytime that you veer off that path, off that track, that trajectory, it's going to hinder your overall progression. Sure, you might garner some initial, I keep saying the word garner, you may receive some initial monetary compensation, some success. You might get some projects that you can actually work on, but is it actually carrying into that progression? Are you actually doing things are you being paid for the worth that you own, that you have, the level of service that you provide? Are you making that, or are you being desperate? So once you start jumping down that path, right, it carries everything. So what I encourage you to do is what I'm good at, and being able to produce content that educates in a way, is really the whole purpose of this video. Instead of doing sales pitches, instead of mustering up these emails, which is, it's really embarrassing. It can be hard to get up every day, or even look back at your week and feel accomplished, right? Feel like you achieved something, because you're essentially dependent on someone, or crossing your fingers that the quantitative method is going to work. I encourage you to pre-focus on a qualitative method. Talk about your struggles, talk about the things that you're going through, talk about the lessons that you've learned, talk about not just industry specific things that the people within your industry will appreciate and like and support and share and comment on, but the things that your ideal customers want to know, that they want to see, that they want to understand, that changes their paradigm, that changes their perspective, that allows them to perceive your value in a different way, if that makes sense. Aim to create content that helps people, that nurtures their ability to trust you, right? That encourages them to check you out, to see what you have to offer, to give you a shot, right? You could even say, "Hey, I'm running into a difficult time right now. I want to be able to share this. I want to be able to talk about some of the things maybe I've done wrong or that have detracted me from my value that can help other business owners or even people in my industry." That carries value. That carries weight. That's something that's evergreen that somebody could see 5 years down the road and still support you. These sales pitches, these emails, these cold calls, this spam on social media, the quantitative game. Like I said, it may get you some initial return monetarily, but as far as loyalty, as far as brand integrity, right? As far as your standards, as far as your definitive value, it lowers it. Be purposeful with everything you do, guys. Still under 6 minutes. Always remember to pre-focus.